Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for one of the more highly anticipated races of our NASCAR 6 Cup Series custom schedule season, live on KRC tonight as we are at the Talladega Superspeedway for the running of the Aaron's 499. This is going to be an interesting race to say the least. It's the second Superspeedway race of the season, first since the Daytona 500, and our driver Greg Biffle is coming in on a hot streak, currently sitting at 5 straight top 5 finishes. Of course, 5 straight top 10 finishes, but of course, not only the 5 straight top 10s for our driver Greg Biffle, but he still has the points lead and has had that points lead for 3 consecutive races. Very slim margin though, as you see at the top of the screen. 4 points is all that separates first through third in the standings through 6 races. And on top of that, the racing has been extraordinary so far this year. Really, we've only had one race that was somewhat lackluster, but it ended up being a really good finish, at least, and a good battle within those last 20 laps of the race, and that was at the Daytona Road Course. We have had at least 5 cautions in every single race so far this season, and in all the oval races this year, we have had at least 7 cautions in every single race. I don't think Talladega is going to be a race where we're going to see less than that. So we'll find out exactly how that will take place. 500 miles of action about to begin. Besides Z, Bentley Potts, Wade Zielinski, Corey Freet, Let's Go Brandon, Billy Kramer, and others welcome into the stream. I believe that is everybody I have seen in the chat so far. No practice, no qualifying. We're hopping into this. We're going to do it the hard way, starting at the tail end of the field. And Greg Biffle's got the Subway colors back on the race car once again this season. Michael Waltrip will be on the pole. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Three wide into the first turn. We'll be seeing a lot of that tonight. Trying to get up to speed. He does have a teammate towards the tail end of the field right now. That would be Matt Kenseth in the 17. So from last place starting position, we'll see how the... Everybody talking about me inhaling sandwiches. I have not had a chance to eat yet. Actually, I had to run to Walmart after work and stock up on some food, so I have barely been home for about a whole 15 minutes, maybe less. Tony Stewart going to get to the lead off turn 4. It looks as if he is going to lead the opening lap of the race. He was dominant at Daytona, won his dual race, and won the Daytona 500. He'll probably be one of the favorites today. And of course, starting off, leading a lap, that's 5 bonus points. And that's a good start for Stewart at the front of the pack. Boss Brody, thanks for tuning in. Biffle down to the inside. Not even really working with his teammate Kenseth into turns 3 and 4. Kenseth going to have to follow Biffle now. Biffle easing out of the gas. Doesn't want to bump draft Jason Leffler in the middle of the corner. Gets to the inside of Leffler heading into the tri-oval, and a big run and a big opening on the inside for Biffle to make some passes. No out of bounds at this Talladega on this game. You'll be seeing drivers go below that yellow line throughout the course of the race. Biffle way off throttle in the middle of turns 1 and 2. And that's going to cost him his momentum, and now he's 3 wide middle as he moves into the outside lane right in front of Kyle Petty in the 45. Bump draft to the back of the 174 car, one of the generator drivers in the middle of the pack. It's alright to bump draft down the straightaways. Corners very risky, and even on the straightaways it can be risky with this being a very bumpy Talladega surface, and these Gen 4 bumpers don't align nearly as well as even the next gen or Gen 6 cars, car of tomorrow. Pretty much anything after the Gen 4 cars. Dale Jr. to the lead. We've already seen a couple lead changes in the first few laps of the race, from Waltrip to Stewart, now to Earnhardt in the lead. Biffle from the top back down to the bottom. I will say he is passing cars very quickly. Already up to 26th. They're starting last. We're only on lap 4. Pack staying very tightly bunched together. Yeah, I'm 1 and 5 in fantasy football, so good luck to you, Billy. My season's pretty much lost. Sad part is I was playing the leaders this week, and he had literally everybody on his bench on a bye, and I still lost. The week I finally dropped Matt Ryan, he goes off, and then Zach Wilson scored me 3 points. My defense scored me big. So I had the Jets defense. They scored me 24. I still ended up losing by 13. Greg Biffle's cracked the top 15. It looks like the top 5 cars starting to spread apart. Oh, Sterling Marlin off the apron down on the bottom. Mentioned there was going to be guys going down there, but I didn't think we were going to see it in the middle of the corner. That was very dangerous. Marlin goes up to try to side draft Boris said. That's going to leave the bottom open for Greg Biffle. And how about Biffle already inside the top 10? Remember, he led the most laps in the Daytona 500, but he blew an engine. Oh, bump draft into Nemechek. Biffle ended up losing control of his car more than the 01. Had too big of a run, nowhere to go with it. Very lucky that did not cause a wreck. And now he's stuck back on the outside and has to get his momentum back again. Mark DeMars, thanks for tuning in. Dark Crypto, welcome into the stream. If we'll get a bump draft, John Andretti on the back straightaway. Big push to Andretti. Down to the bottom, into the corner. Andretti tried to throw a block on Biffle. It's getting nuts at the front of the field. Biffle, Martin. Biffle down low, gets by Waltrip Said, back to the top to follow behind Kyle Busch in the 5. He'll get under him now, heading towards turn 1. Marlin not going to get to the bottom in time to block, and Greg Biffle's up to 8th. He may have the fastest car in the field today. Harvick now to the lead at the front. Jarrett blocking Nemechek. Biffle to the inside of both cars. Jarrett coming off a win at Dover in that last race of the season. 50%er. Had 4 different winners. Biffle slides up in front of the 88. Looking to get a push now and try to catch the top 5. 65 at Texas. Only. It was a high of 43 at my house today. And very windy. I think the feel like temperature was down to like 33. Well, my vote's Ryan Blaney. Or Greg Biffle. There's a push to Jimmy Johnson. Middle of the corner, Johnson held on to it pretty well. That's going to shoot the 48 car past the 8. Rookie Carl Edwards, who already has a win early in his rookie season, in 3rd. Edwards on the inside of Stewart. Greg Biffle up to 4th. In 9 laps, he has gone from 43rd to 4th without practice or qualifying. This car is handling very well from the get-go, and now a big run on the back straightaway at 200 miles an hour nearly into 3. Stewart couldn't make the block. Greg Biffle looking like a super speedway ace right now. And trying to get to the front of the field quickly. Edwards looking low. Harvick with a block. That's going to stall Edwards' momentum out. Biffle with the run way down to the inside. At the line, Greg Biffle will lead his first lap of the race. 9 laps to go from last to first at Talladega. What a race car this 16 of Greg Biffle has. And now his teammate Carl Edwards going to follow him on the inside line to try to get to 2nd. But we'll see how good this car is in the clean air, though. Does he have the single car speed, or was it mainly the draft where the car is going to handle the best? Gaviline Warrior, thanks for tuning in. I did not hear anything about Bubba Wallace being suspended. I had to work today, and I didn't see it while I was at work. Only NASCAR news I saw today was that Ty Dillon was announced to drive the 77 for Spire Motorsports. I saw that on my lunch break. But no, I didn't see anything about Wallace. I feel like Wednesdays are usually when they come out with, like, the fines and the suspensions and everything, so I wasn't expecting to hear anything today. I was expecting that tomorrow. Can you function on 20 to 40 degree weather? It's not terrible once you get used to it. I mean, I was born and raised in Northwest Ohio, so I'm kind of used to it. 23 years. Pulled to the top to try to block Kevin Harvick. 2 and 3 wide behind him. Biffle's led 3 consecutive laps now. Runs are pretty big, but he's holding on to the lead very strongly right now. Oh, it dropped an hour. Yeah, I was probably at Walmart when that happened then. I usually check my phone on my break, so that's how I saw the Spire Motorsport news earlier. Another reason why I didn't see it. Harvick almost got the wall off turn 4. Jimmy Johnson trying to get his first lap led of the day. I believe we've had 4 different drivers lead a lap already. Waltrip did not lead a lap from the pole. Stewart, Earnhardt, Harvick, Biffle. Looks like one of the Roush cars have just blown an engine. I think it was Carl Edwards in the 99. And the rookie having issues. Remember, we saw a couple of the Roush Fenway Fords blow engines. Not just Greg Biffle, but Mark Martin also blew an engine in the Daytona... Or, sorry, not Martin. Who was it? We drove as Martin. Was it Kurt Busch? I know there's 2 of them. Maybe Kenseth. I don't know. Kenseth's top. I don't know who it was exactly. But we had 2 of them that did not make it to the end. I know Kurt Busch flipped. Maybe it was Busch. Johnson trying to get that first lap line. He cleared Biffle off turn 4, but Biffle beats him back to the line, and now they're side by side for the lead again. Johnson thought he had the 5 bonus points there, but he did not. And Biffle with the crossover. I mean, kind of. Blub, thanks for tuning in also. It's not really a factory. I mean, it's a warehouse. We don't make stuff, so it's not a factory. We just receive and ship stuff. So other Home Depot stores. Yeah, Edwards out already. Hopefully the game quality isn't choppy for you guys. My laptop's running slow again after it froze yesterday during the stream, so I don't really know what to do to fix that right now, unfortunately. Kevin Harvick to the lead on the back straightaway. Greg Biffle going to give him a big push on the back straightaway heading towards turn 3. And now looking to the outside for the lead. Got to keep this car clean outside of the bump drafting, though, if you're Greg Biffle. Harvick getting quite a ways out ahead of the pack. Tony Stewart going to give Greg Biffle a big shot in the tri-oval. Biffle down to the bottom. It's going to be a lead change, though. Harvick back out in front for the second different time already. These guys have been extra aggressive towards the front of the field so far. Biffle sliding up. Not going to be able to clear Kevin Harvick yet. And they're still door-to-door for the lead on the back straightaway. Tony Stewart's got to run. Stays in line behind Biffle, trying to keep that inside line organized. Oh, into the corner! That wasn't even supposed to be a block. I was not trying to block Kevin Harvick. He was hanging on the right rear quarter panel, and I went up just a sliver. Barely went up, and that was all it took to make the contact that sent both cars into the wall. No caution, though. We stayed green. Somehow both cars able to keep it somewhat straight there. And Tony Stewart's now back in front for the second different time. Yeah, I do see Kyle Busch, Rusty Wallace up in this lead pack as well. Biffle has a run. No, I haven't had any virus problems. It just froze on me. I don't know if it overheated. I mean, I wasn't on it very long before I even streamed either, so I don't know. Now, Stewart's way out ahead of the pack right now, so I'd like to think that they're going to end up closing in on him. And once they get close enough to really get in the draft of Stewart, the chances of him holding on to the lead are going to be slim to none. If we're trying to lead this pack from second on back. Junior on the inside of Greg Biffle. Biffle going to give him a little bit of room. These guys running side by side. Oh, Dale Jr. I think he was trying to side draft Greg Biffle. He made contact with him. Might have been 3 wide with Kyle Busch down low, and maybe that's why Junior moved up. Tried to keep it off the 5 car who was underneath him at the last second. Rookie Kyle Busch tried to be the second rookie to potentially win a race already this season. Biffle getting a little bit of draft off Tony Stewart on the back straightaway now. Got enough of a push from Kyle. We'll hit lap 20 this time by. Still no caution. Big run for Biffle on Stewart. He's going to have a shot to get underneath him into turn 1. Goes to the inside. Stewart thought about blocking. Couldn't do it. Hooked to that yellow line on the bottom was Biffle. There was no shot for Stewart to hang on to the lead. I figured he was so far out in front that once Greg Biffle got down to the bottom of the racetrack that he was going to be able to slingshot by him and there was going to be no chance for Stewart to throw the block. Stewart's going to need a little bit of help to try to get back by Biffle now. To head into turns 3 and 4. Busch trying to get underneath Tony Stewart for second on the inside. Stewart still up high. Biffle trying to control the lanes. Going up high off turn 2. Kyle Busch down low. Seen speed in the Hendrick cars so far this season, just none of them have gone to victory lane. Thought Dover's going to be a great chance. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon were all really fast, especially Johnson, who led the most laps. But then Jason Leffler, who blew an engine in the opening laps of the race, came back out on the racetrack just after a restart while Johnson was leading. And Johnson ran right into the back of him heading into turn 1, which caused about 4 or 5 cars to flip. There was debris flying everywhere, and each of the drivers inside the top 5 all crashed, including Biffle. Biffle was able to at least get back in the top 10 by the end of the race. One of the wildest things I've seen in a NASCAR game maybe ever. There was no time to react either. He was going so slow. And, I mean, from 5th in line on the restart, you couldn't see him. Saw kind of running single file on the front stretch, and then we were just crashing in an instant. Tony Stewart trying to get onto the left rear corner panel of Biffle. Biffle just went up high. He saw Busch with the run. That's going to give Biffle a little bit of help. That's the help needed to stay in front of Stewart. First stop lap 35. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, obviously leading laps right now, you're not saving as much fuel as the rest of the drivers in the pack. But Biffle did start last, but it only took him 9 laps to get to the lead. And his one teammate that was up here with him, Carl Edwards, blew an engine, so he's just kind of waiting on maybe some other Roush cars to get up towards the front. Kenseth started towards the rear as well. He didn't get through pack nearly as quick. Biffle felt he had a fast car in the opening lap, so he didn't even want to really work with Kenseth. He just wanted to get up here by himself. And he was able to manipulate the draft perfectly to do so. Got a webcaster. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time today. Biffle just going to stay hooked to the bottom in front of the 29 car of Kevin Harvick. One car on the outside. And it is Stewart. And Tony Stewart wins Talladega and Daytona to start the year. Remember, Talladega is the championship race on this custom schedule season. If he's in contention, this could be Tony Stewart's championship to lose in that final race of the year. Biffle's had a strong car too. Unfortunately, he blew an engine in the first race. He's just got to not blow an engine this time, but it's not really going to be his choice on whether he blows an engine or not. Definitely going to take those 2-tire strategy calls on green flag pit stops, assuming we see green flag stops today. Johnson on the bottom, getting help from Kyle Busch. Jimmy Johnson looking low. Biffle down to block the 48. Car on the outside of the 16 right now as well. That would be Kevin Harvick in the 29. Everybody is under a blanket right now. Lead pack of about 20 cars all bunched together. Fairly clean race by Talladega standards, though, despite the aggressiveness early on. Harvick might have gotten into the wall on the outside. Tony Stewart trapped behind him. They're going to the back on the outside lane. Biffle got a little arrow loose up off the corner. Kyle Busch was tucked underneath him. Never made contact with him. Ryan Newman battling up there. Didn't even realize Johnson was on the outside of Busch. Busch clipping the apron in the middle of the corner. He's trying to get underneath the 16. Rusty Wallace is now in the top 5 alongside his teammate Ryan Newman. Maybe the Penske Dodges can work together. I think there was contact back there for second because Biffle's got a big lead into turns 1 and 2 all of a sudden. Jimmy Johnson ahead of both Busch and Newman. I don't know what happened back there, but Biffle was ahead of it. But now they're going to have a massive run on Greg Biffle down the back straightaway, so Biffle better be prepared. Might not be able to block it. Into 3 and 4. They're not there yet. Johnson's going to be the lead driver trying to bring this pack back to Biffle. Huge push from his teammate Kyle Busch. He's looking to the outside. Biffle trying to block. Jimmy down low. Biffle holding on to it. Barely. Couldn't. Oh, man. Nearly making contact with the 48 and still down low to block in time. I don't know how Biffle defended that off. He was so far ahead. Stayed in the gas. He was able to make the moves. Johnson lost his momentum finally. Kyle Busch gets around him. Rusty Wallace to the inside. Wild pack racing at Talladega from the get-go. Newman's got to run under his teammate Rusty Wallace. Not going to really go with him right now. Staying hooked on the yellow line for the most part is Biffle. Wallace with a big block on Jimmy Johnson. One car on the outside of the 16. This is intense. Door to door for the lead. Ryan Newman out in front of Talladega. Biffle getting a little arrow loose from the 48 of Johnson, trying to push from behind. Kyle Busch ended up in the middle lane, 3 wide. Big block by Newman on Kyle Busch. Down to the bottom, both cars go. Biffle gets underneath the 5 car barely, and Newman down in front of the 16. The 5 makes contact with Biffle. Up into the outside wall goes the 16. He couldn't hang on to it. Kyle Busch chopped down the 16 car of Greg Biffle in the middle of the corner. Busch got up into the wall. Biffle got into the wall. And a rookie error from the rookie Kyle Busch. I don't even know how that happened. I mean, you obviously could see Biffle was holding his line on the double yellow line. He had contact from the car on his outside. I don't know if maybe Busch got hit from behind or what happened there. I don't know how that didn't spark the big one. Biffle had it saved until he ended up coming back into the 5. It was still on the outside of him. They made contact a second time, which is what drove the 16 up into the wall. Now he's back with Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. Got held up in this group. Busch went back even further. I don't think the camera angles had anything to do with that, honestly. It seemed like Kyle Busch just kind of came down into me. Big push. Tony Stewart to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Greg Biffle all over him through the tri-oval. And maybe the 2 fastest cars in the field trying to work together right now. Stewart slid up in front of Gordon before Biffle had a shot to clear him. Biffle finally clears Gordon once Stewart moved back down to the bottom into turns 3 and 4. Lap 32 this time by at the start-finish line. Biffle with a run under Stewart. Stewart went high. Biffle ended up just keeping his momentum up, got around Tony Stewart cleanly, and he'll slide up in front of him in the tri-oval. 2.3 seconds off the lead. Rusty Wallace out in front. I don't even know how many different drivers have led a lap. We've had quite a few different leaders already. I know Stewart, Biffle, Earnhardt, Harvick, Wallace now, Newman. I don't know if Kyle Busch led a lap or not when he was up there. He was close a few times. Biffle can just get to the back of this lead pack. He's going to have a big run on the first car he sees, which seems like it may be Joe Nemechek in the 01 right now. He needs a little help from behind, though, from Tony Stewart. Got a couple cars peeling into the pits. Down on the bottom, Matt Kenseth is in this lead pack now as well, coming from the tail of the field at the start of the race. He pulls up in front of Nemechek. Right front starting to go away on the 16 just a little bit. So if the car's on pit road, it's going to be very interesting how the green flag pit stops are going to cycle through. Plan for Biffles to stay out as long as possible in case we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops. Problem is, he's probably not going to be able to go a whole lot further on fuel anyway. Tony Stewart starting to reel Biffle back in just a little bit more again. Stewart with a push to Biffle. Into turns 1 and 2. Oh, traffic slowing down all of a sudden. Biffle into the back of Dale Jarrett. Everybody checked up in the middle of the corner. I think it was for the lap car on the inside, but I don't know why they checked up. Biffle hit the 88 pretty square. Luckily, he didn't turn him around. Tried to check up, just couldn't check up in time. Oh, and now John Andretti pulls up in front of Biffle. He wasn't even up to speed yet. Biffle got into the back of the 14 now. Gonna stay out one more lap. Gonna try to stretch it to lap 35, and then he'll pit the next time by, but he's lost a lot of momentum all of a sudden. Lappers pulling up down on the bottom of the track again. Biffle going high in the middle of 3 and 4. Doesn't look like he's going to catch him anyway. Back down to the bottom. He's got nobody directly behind him. And Greg Biffle is going to pit this time by. Can't speed. Doesn't want to lock those tires up, and he's going to have to lock them up to keep from speeding, and he still speeds. My goodness. Oh, and the yellow's out. Hang on. Caution is out while Biffle's on pit road, so he's going to take 4 tires. He did get to the commitment line, and this is going to bail him out of the pit road speeding penalty, I do believe. Caution is out for the first time today at Talladega in the middle of green flag stops. This is going to be interesting where Biffle restarts, because I sped coming into the pits, but I did make it to the commitment line before the caution, so I don't know if I'll have to restart the tail of the field. Or maybe I'll just get lucky. I mean, we're serving the penalty under caution. I don't know. This is going to be very interesting to see where Greg Biffle's going to be. Kurt Busch has just flipped at Talladega. Wild ride for Busch up on... Oh, another car flipped at the back. Well, there's the big one. Kurt Busch upside down. I want to know who that other car was that was upside down back there as well. 2 cars have flipped in one crash at Talladega. And the big one strikes on lap 35 to bring out our first caution of the day. And Greg Biffle's going to be the leader on the restart. Boy, did I get bailed out. I was going to take 2 tires trying to make up time. And I was able to take 4 because we hit the commitment line. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. I mean, you can't get bailed out of a speeding penalty any better than what Greg Biffle got bailed out right there. And he's got the restart gear in it as he quickly gets by the lap cars down on the bottom of the racetrack. An early big one at Talladega, bringing out the first caution on lap 35. Biffle blocking Harvick, as well as Travis Quaffle on the top. Quaffle is a lap down at least. So is Kenny Wallace in the 0-0. Harvick down to the inside. Caution again on the restart, probably for debris. Big IQ moment, yeah. To switch from 2 tires to 4 at the last second. Glad I did. Heavy damage on the back of Jeff Burton's race car. I wonder if he was the other car that flipped. But a piece of his back bumper has come up and come apart. It's lucky to still be running. And we'll have yet another restart. So 2 cautions back-to-back all of a sudden. After 35 green flag laps to start, the Aaron's $4.99 tonight. And we'll head to yet another restart. Green flag back in the air, lap 43. John Andretti's the only car lap down, I believe, right now, because a lot of the... No, maybe not. That would be incorrect. There aren't many cars a lap down, though, because there was quite a few that jumped to the bottom. Trying to fall in line behind Andretti in the 123. It might have moved down a little too early, though, and Biffle was able to get out in front of Andretti, and now he blocks him on the back straightaway. Kurt Busch is still in the race after flipping, by the way. Andretti to the outside. Biffle down low to block Harvick now. Big stack up, it looked like, on the restart. A lot further back. Tony Stewart on the bottom lane for the lead. Harvick in the middle. Biffle down low to block the 29. Tony Stewart will lead the first lap following the restart. Big run for Biffle. Looking high. Thought Stewart was going to try to block him there. Thought better of it. Biffle going to hop back in line behind Smoke. And the 2 fastest cars on the field are 1-2 once again. Biffle laid back, got the run off turn 2, didn't need any help. Clears Stewart easily into 3. Caution. Immediately after Biffle takes the lead, turn 3, our third caution of the day. And this is debris off Boris Said's front bumper. Looks like his hood may come off soon, too. Casey Kane in the mix, too? I didn't even realize that. Everybody that's pretty much on the lead lap has a shot still, obviously. And, I mean, even the cars that are lapped down, they're getting the free pass with all these cautions coming out. Getting right back into it. Lap 48, green flag back in the air again. Biffle immediately down to try to side draft the 123. Looking to get in front of him. And does. Caution again. Turn 1. We didn't even get up to speed that time. 4 yellows already at Talladega. 3 for debris following the big one that struck in lap 35. That was Elliott Sadler's hood that just blew off. There's so many cars with debris. There are so many cars that got caught up in that, and I'm glad I was on pit road when it happened. I see Shane Meals got damage on the front of his car as well. He's right in front of Jeff Burton on the outside lane. And the caution came out. I mean, this is allowing Biffle to lead a lot of laps under caution, so, I mean, that's good. Oh, okay, so a little strategy. It seems like there's some cars that hit pit road. They're going to have fresher tires. But they're not many lap fresher tires, but they will have fresher tires. Green flag back in the air. And Kyle Petty's the only car a lap down now. He's hoping for another quick yellow to get back on the lead lap. Any yellow at this point would put him back on the lead lap as long as we don't get the green flag pit stops again. Unless he unlaps himself, which is definitely possible as well. Caution. 5 cautions, and again, we've had at least 5 or more every race, so we've already had 5 today, and that was Boris Said's hood that came off. We had some cars that pit. I don't think Boris Said did. I have to take our crew chief's word for it. Surprised nobody's blowing tires running over the debris that keeps falling off in the middle of the pack. Well, no lap cars on this next restart. It's going to be a long single file line from the front to the tail. Disadvantage of being the leader. Biffle had no clue they pitted until his crew chief let him know heading into that last restart. Green flag back in the air again. Harvick trying to block Tony Stewart. He's not even worried about Biffle right now. Biffle getting a good launch. He might be getting out a little too far ahead of him. Harvick is going to get a run in the middle of turns 1 and 2 now. Lap 56 restart. Here comes Stewart down to the bottom. Biffle with a late block, but got there in time. And now here comes Kevin Harvick back to the outside. Tony Stewart looking low, 3 wide for the lead into turn 3. Biffle finds his way on the outside. The 174 car's in the mix. My goodness. Got a fantasy driver up here in the top 5. And Kurt Busch, who flipped in the big one, is up to 3rd. Nice Demon King 92 Hammer, thanks for tuning in. Stewart, Harvick side by side, dead even at the line. I think Harvick led that lap. Greg Biffle getting a run. He's back up to 3rd. Stewart looking to try to block the 29 of Kevin Harvick. Biffle's got a run on Harvick. Stays in line behind him. Car low. Kurt Busch. Harvick getting a shot from Biffle. Big block by Tony Stewart. He nearly wrecked the field. He has to check up. Harvick to the lead. Biffle going underneath Harvick now. Stewart all the way to the apron to make the save into 3. Harvick had way too big of a run, and now there's contact with the leaders as Biffle's trying to get underneath the 29. Door to door for the lead. Harvick leads that lap at the line. Harvick and Biffle way out ahead of the pack now. Yeah, must be driving like Beard Motorsports. He's having the biggest race of his life right now. Oh, Harvick back to the inside of Biffle again. Surprised he got down there as quickly as he did after Biffle cleared him. But no help for Harvick to get a push. And Biffle's able to hold on in front. Good battle between the 29 and the 16. Remember, Biffle's got a little bit older tires. Everybody pitted during that, what, fourth yellow? We had a caution immediately after that, so Biffle have a little harder time trying to keep up. Harvick back out in front. Biffle's car's so good in the draft, though. The good thing is, for pretty much the entire field, Stewart had one of the fastest cars, but threw a bad block on Harvick. Oh, Harvick just blew an engine while being in second place into the tri-oval. Kevin Harvick just blew a motor all of a sudden. That's the second driver that's blown an engine while running in the top 5 today. Carl Edwards did it in the opening laps, and now big run for Ricky Rudd, the 21 car, and the Wood Brothers Racing Ford is looking for the lead on the back straightaway. Biffle got way too far out ahead because Harvick blew the engine, and now he's having a block for his life on the back straightaway on Rudd. His teammate Kurt Busch trying to close back in again. Rudd to the inside off turn 4. Rudd trying to get his first lap led of the race. Harvick is still limping his car on the back straightaway right now. Run almost into the left rear quarter panel of Biffle. Biffle going high to try to break whatever side draft Rudd may have had. Biffle's going all over the place right now trying to block the 21. Oh my gosh. We've seen some wild racing today. Oh man, Stewart just about ran into the... Oh, he's coming back up into traffic. Oh my gosh. Tony Stewart about ran into Harvick, who was on the apron blowing an engine. Harvick will make it into the pits. I thought Stewart was going to come right back up in front of the field like Leffler did at Dover. Halfway on fuel for Biffle during the run. His teammate Kurt Busch down on the bottom of the racetrack. Stewart's a lap down. Having a lot of comers and goers in this race, that's for certain. I mean, it is Talladega, but still. Roush Fenway Racing 1-2 at the front of the field. Biffle's still the only Roush driver to win a points race. Kenseth did win his dual race earlier this season, but that was a non-points race. And Dale Jr. in the mix. Always one of the favorites when we go to Talladega. Kurt Busch, after flipping, is trying to take the lead from his teammate on the back straightaway, and I think he may have a shot if Jr. goes with him. He's not going to. Casey Kane will try, but I think he's a little too far back. Jr. went with the 16, and Biffle holds on to the lead into turn 3. Well, the good news is for Stewart with being a lap down right now is that if a caution comes out, he's the only car lap down to get the free pass. We haven't had a debris caution in a while, so I'm thinking that The debris cautions are probably done unless we get another wreck. Had the big one, and then we had 4 debris yellows immediately after, so that's why we've had 5 cautions already in 64 laps. Most cautions we've had this season was at Martinsville, the 3rd race of the year, where we had 21 cautions in that race. Nearly broke the NASCAR record, which was 22 in the 2005 Coke 600. So, of course, taking place in the 2005 season with our custom schedule season this year on NASCAR 06. I don't know, Talladega is not really getting bumpy. I've noticed Daytona the last couple of years is slowly, especially being there in person, the track looked bumpier than what it does on TV. But Talladega, not so much. Which is strange when you consider the fact that Daytona was actually repaved a few years after Talladega. Jeremy Mayfield in the mix. I thought that was Casey Kane, but it's Mayfield in the 19 trying to get to the lead for the first time, and he's got a run. And Elliott Sadler, who doesn't even have a hood anymore, is up here. And Mayfield did lead that last lap, by the way, on Biffle. Mayfield led that lap. He's got a push from Dale Jr. 3 wide for the lead off turn 2 now. Biffle back in line behind the 19 as he chops off Dale Jr. on the outside. Pulls back out of line. Clipped the apron going into the corner. That shot him up the track, but luckily he cleared the 19, and I think Mayfield may have lifted and let Biffle back up in line. Jr. down to the bottom now off turn 4. He's looking for the lead. He hasn't led in a while. I like how Mark's like, where did he come from? Like with everybody that's taking the lead for the first time. Sadler was mid-pack when he had that debris caution too. I don't know how he got up here so quickly. His teammate won the last race. Remember, Sadler has had 3 top 3 finishes in a row, and despite not having a hood, he's not going to let that phase him today. He's looking to keep that streak alive. Tony Stewart on the bottom of the racetrack just up ahead. About to go a 2nd lap down. Sadler's got a big push from Bobby Labonte. Jr. on the outside getting help from Mayfield. Tony Stewart's 2 laps down now. It's going to be tough for him to get back into this race. It's about as good as super speedway racing gets from what we've seen today. Remember, again, the championship race is at Talladega later this year. We actually have 3 races at Talladega on this custom schedule season. Biffle side drafting Elliott Sadler. Really squeezing him now. Oh, little contact. Squeezed him a little too much. Oh, Sadler slow. Going into the corner. Nearly got clocked. A couple cars in the middle of the pack. Sadler fades. Oh, Junior slides off turn 4. Saves it. And it's a 2-car breakaway now at the front of the field with Greg Biffle and Jeremy Mayfield. I don't know what happened back there. I don't know if Junior had contact from behind or if he tried to block the car on the outside and they got stacked up into the wall, but now Mayfield and Biffle are all by themselves. Track next to get paved, probably Auto Club. I don't know if I don't think they're repaving it for next year. I would imagine that's probably going to be the next one. Darlington's got to be getting close too, considering they had to put that pavement down in turn 2 because of the potholes. Mayfield's got a strong car. He just side drafted his way to the lead. Hasn't cleared Biffle yet. Now he has. How about Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car with a run? We'll try not to let Mayfield get away. Mayfield does not get away. Led that 1 lap. Biffle's going to try to lead the next. Quite a few lead changes today. Maybe we'll have a NASCAR record for the most lead changes in a single race. Mayfield will bounce off the wall off turn 4. What the shell is going on with this race? Do you think Joey Logano says that a lot in his car? Like, what the shell does he think he's doing? What the shell does he think he's doing? Saving at the pump? Can't even scratch my nose. Mayfield's got a fast car. I guess Biffle, again, slightly older tires. He is going to have to pit before the rest of the pack, so hopefully he can stay on the lead lap. Going to definitely have to go 2 tires to make sure Biffle stays on the lead lap because he's not going to have any drafting help. There's one car closing in on Biffle and Mayfield. Looks to be Ryan Newman. Might have a couple Dodges working together when Newman gets up here, even though Mayfield's not his teammate. Same manufacturer. So last time I saved at the pump, when I was down in Talladega, where it was like a full $1 cheaper for a gallon of gas. Now it's like $4 up here in Northwest Ohio. I paid $2.95 when I was in Alabama that weekend. Southern Tennessee was pretty cheap too. I mean, even in Kentucky, it's like 30 to 40 cents cheaper. It's not as bad as like California and some of those other states where there's a higher state tax, but everything's cheap down south compared to up north or out west. Biffle with the run on Mayfield. Going to the outside. Mayfield blocking all the way to the top. And Tony Stewart down on the bottom again. Potentially. Biffle underneath Mayfield. Into turns 3 and 4. Oh! It's Elliott Sadler, actually. Sadler in the 38. Biffle got a little loose. He was on the apron with the left side tires going into the corner. Jeremy Mayfield now looking to the outside. Biffle going up to try to side draft the 19 car. Mayfield back out in front. Here comes Newman. The 19 and the 16 battling hard right now. Newman up in line behind Biffle. Didn't pull exactly all the way up there. The runs are just so gigantic today. I don't remember them being this big from like every driver in the field. Doesn't matter how many cars you have lined up behind you. Obviously, the more, the better the run. Mayfield just popped the wall off turn 4. Dale Jr.'s down on the inside of the racetrack now. He's going to go a lap down. So a lot of the favorites going a lap down all of a sudden. Jr. had to make that save off turn 4 when something happened to him, and that's why the field's so spaced out right now. Still don't know what exactly caused that either. Gas station blew up, jeez. Hopefully everybody was alright. Newman and Mayfield side by side. I didn't think that block down low at the last second was going to be a clean one, but it was. Biffle holding on strong. Mayfield and Newman working together on the outside down the back straightaway. Mayfield's going to be able to clear Greg Biffle for the lead and moves down in front of him now. Ryan Newman still on the outside of the 16. Biffle is going to have to pit sometime very soon. He'll stay out that time off turn 4 as he rides in line behind Jeremy. He's able to get back out in front of Ryan Newman. To the outside. Mayfield squeezes the 16. Biffle barely keeps it off the wall. Mayfield blocking the heck out of Biffle to try to hold on to the lead. Biffle never lifted. I doubt Mayfield did either. One off the top, though, for the 16, and he's going to slingshot back by Mayfield into turn 3. Fuel indicator on the lower left-hand corner of the screen, down into the dark red now for the 16. It just got to that on the back straightaway, so Biffle will stay out this time by, and then he'll pit at lap 78, coming back the next time. It'll be a 2-tire stop, right sides only for Greg Biffle, so he can try to stay on the lead lap. This is going to be the last lap led, at least until everybody cycles through pit stops. And the battle will be between just Mayfield and Newman. Biffle's just going to have to make sure he's going to have the bottom. Get by the 38 of Elliott Sadler down into the pits. Biffle sped coming into the pits the last time. This time, he does not speed and did not lock the tires up. That was perfect. Got all he could out of it and then some. It'll be 4 tires and, right side tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments on the 16. And there's Harvick in his pit box after blowing an engine earlier in the run. 305 for gas where you live? I wish, man. I wish. I dead and hospitalized and one in jail. Probably for starting the fire. Biffle's definitely still going to be on the lead lap. Just trying to get up to speed right now. Dale Jr. coming up from behind. I really hope he doesn't, like, just turn me all of a sudden. I don't know why I was on the apron as long as I was. I had to pull up. That's alright. I was on the straightaway. And Jr. going backwards again. XX Larry, thanks for tuning in. Almost $6 a year, jeez. Lap 80 at Talladega. Jeremy Mayfield leads the Aaron's 499. Still about 14 laps shy of the halfway mark. It has been a very, very good race so far at Talladega. Field's starting to slowly get back together up towards the front right now. When we get to the start-finish line this time by, we'll take our first field pass of the race today. It will switch to the 6 of Mark Martin. We'll have an extra lap with every driver in the field pass today, means Carl Edwards is out of the race. And we did not get to drive as him at all yet. Blew an engine in the opening laps. After qualifying well, running in the top 5. And back to Martin we go. Martin on the outside in the 26th place position right now. We already had the big one. I doubt it was the last big one. It was in the middle of green flag pit stops right at lap 35. Biffle's actually on pit road and had a pit road speeding penalty, but got to actually cycle into the lead when the caution had come out. Served his penalty under the yellow and got very, very lucky that that was the case. Martin bump drafting Jeff Green on the back straightaway, heading into turn 3. He'll just share draft with him. Pulls out of line off turn 4. Martin to the inside of Shane Meal. Meal blocking Martin all the way down below the yellow line to make the pass on Meal for 23rd. Only a quarter tank of gas left for for Mark Martin right now as well. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Ryan Newman to the lead. I think Jeremy Mayfield just pitted, so I guess Bipple only pitted a few laps before everybody. He is still on the lead lap. Obviously, he doesn't have any drafting help, and he's got 2 old left side tires, so we'll see if he can hang on to the lead lap in case we get another caution in the middle of green flag pit stops again. Jesus. I don't know anything about drugs to know that I had no clue that methamphetamines, like, keep you awake. All of them, at least. I don't know what's considered methamphetamine and what isn't either. I know absolutely nothing about drugs. $4 a gallon where you're at. Yeah, Michigan's usually a little bit more expensive than Ohio anytime I go up to Detroit. Oh, man, Sadler got loose. I mean, he's racing on the apron for a while. Mark Martin up to 11th place right now. Jeff Green's got a little run on him. Martin going to block the 43 on the back straightaway. Ryan Newman will stay out that time by. I think Kenseth hit pit road recently. Swap to Kurt Busch in the 97 next time. We go one more lap with Martin, and then we'll swap to Kurt Busch. Plus Kurt hits pit road this time by, then we'll swap to Kenseth. Car slowing up in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Mark Martin staying on the gas and driving out onto the apron. Got a little loose doing that, but he hangs on to it. He didn't want to lift. Gets by everybody. Great awareness for Mark Martin to make those passes, and he's up to 6th place. Labonte trying to get up to speed. Be the 44 of Terry Labonte. Ryan Newman coming into the pits this time. Martin hasn't led yet. We'll see if he actually leads this lap at the start-finish line. Kurt Busch is in the pit, so we're going to have to swap to Matt Kenseth for a handful of laps. Here's Kurt. And yes, Mark Martin will lead his first lap of the race. It'll be 5 bonus points for Mark. And we'll go to Kenseth, who is still on the lead lap, but has already made his pit stop, and he's currently in 13th. Unique Matt Kenseth paint scheme today. Once Mark Martin pits, we're going to cycle all the way through green flag pit stops. Kenseth back in the top 10. Mark Martin is the last car to hit pit road, and he is in right now. Kenseth's getting a big run on Dale Jarrett in the 88. Into the corner, Kenseth going to draft with Jarrett. Oh, sorry, Jarrett, sorry. I had such a big run. I didn't lift. I was trying to stay in line behind him and bump draft him. I clipped him in the left rear. I think he got up into the wall. No caution, though. We stayed green. Jeremy Mayfield has cycled in the lead through green flag pit stops, so fortunately Greg Biffle did not. He's struggling on those two old left side tires, I'm sure, right now. Mayfield out in front. Kenseth up to 4th. Weed legal in Ohio? I have no clue. I think so, but I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know! Mike Bliss getting a challenge to the outside of Kenseth. Kenseth's only 2.7 seconds off the race lead. Ryan Newman out in front now. I think it's a 3-car pack at the front of the field between Biffle, Newman, and Mayfield, which is what it was prior to the green flag stops. Mike Bliss, Rusty Wallace going to get by Kenseth on the outside, dropping Kenseth back to 6th. Couple of 3-car packs at the front of the field right now. It's the most spaced apart the field's been now after green flag pit stops. We'll go to Kurt Busch next lap. Mike Bliss has had a great season. He's got 4 straight top 10s already in the early going of the year. He started off stronger than what he did even last year when he made the chase. In our first NASCAR 05 season, looks like Wallace and Bliss are kind of pulling away from Kenseth. Kenseth can reel him back in into the tri-oval. Big run for Kenseth, looking low underneath Rusty Wallace. And back to Kurt Busch we go. He's not too much further behind those guys. 13th place is where Kurt Busch runs right now. Where Kurt flipped earlier on in the race. We'll run 5 laps with him, and then we'll go back to Greg Biffle in the 16, who's battling up there with the leaders. Actually, never mind. Biffle's the car in line right behind Kurt Busch. Not a great pit stop for Biffle. Kurt's going to let the 16 go. Get back into 13th, and he's going to draft with Biffle. I think Biffle just lost so much time running by himself was the big thing. And why he didn't cycle back into the lead. Busch, Greg Biffle working together. Oh, Nemechek's driving this weekend for the Cup Series. Interesting. Elliott Sadler still down on the bottom of the track. Emily Gangdadine, thanks for tuning in. We'll be halfway home next time by. Busch didn't really want to get by Greg Biffle there. He had a run, got underneath, and Biffle went towards the outside. Kurt's going to go to the top now. Try to let the 16 back around him again. Ricky Rudd starting to close in on the 97 and the 16 as well. Jimmy Johnson out of the lead at the front of the field. He was close to leading the lap earlier. This is, I believe, going to be Johnson's first lap led at the line. And Rudd's going to get back by Busch on the bottom as well as Biffle. Busch back to the inside of Rudd. Looking to work with the 16 again. Back straightaway. Busch gonna shove Biffle into 3. Wow, 48.412 in the pack that time for Kurt Busch. Michael Waltrip and Jamie McMurray just up ahead of these two. It's the final lap, then we'll go back to the 16. Trying to get Biffle to go low. He's not going low. Well, he is low in the sense that he is behind the 15 of Waltrip. And he's just going to follow Michael into turns 3 and 4. Oh, push to the back of McMurray. Got Kurt sideways off turn 4. Held on to it. Biffle blocks McMurray now in the tri-oval. And we'll go back to Greg Biffle at the line. Down to just 92 laps to go at Talladega. And the Aaron's 499. 5 cautions so far in today's race. Greg Biffle 7.5 seconds off the lead. Remember, he took right side tires only during the last pit stop. And the only green flag stop of the day that he actually was able to cycle through. Big bump draft to Waltrip. Waltrip couldn't hang on to it, though. Not in the tri-oval that time, at least. Waltrip started on the pole. He has yet to lead a lap. A lot of help on the bottom. No help for Waltrip up high. And we're trying to let the 15 car go. Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray back in the mix. They're going to get to the inside of Greg. Ricky Rudd as well, right behind. Biffle's just going to go down with McMurray. Means McMurray's the one with the run. And running the inside. Waltrip hung out to dry again. Halfway in fuel during the run right now for Biffle. Yankees beat Cleveland. Somebody told me it was 3-0 when I left work. Cleveland was up 2-1 in the series, too. Biffle get shovey on the backstretch. Well, drafting Jamie McMurray as they try to work together. Biffle would like to work with his teammate. I don't know how fast Kurt Busch is, though, after flipping earlier. Might be a little risky to go with him in the draft. Biffle's going to have to pit before everybody, though, again, so it's going to be really tough for him. Even though he's gaining some of this track position back, he was 14th, now up to 11th. Bobby Labonte on the inside of Dale Jarrett for 9th. Biffle's got a big run. Gets underneath Jarrett. That's going to be a pass for 10th place now for Biffle. And he'll follow Bobby Labonte. 48.344, fastest lap of the day for Biffle that last time by. Forget the old left side tires. Car's still good in the draft at least. Making allies, making friends at Talladega. Making friends, Talladega edition. Yankees took game 4. Yeah, they did. I did watch that game. That's literally the only baseball game I've watched. Or, no, not yesterday. It was Sunday night. It was after the race on Sunday. I watched it. They were supposed to play last night, but they got rained out, I guess. The big run behind Labonte. Gonna push him on the back straightaway. Labonte running the inside, which is exactly where Biffle wants him to run. Stay hooked to that yellow line. Yeah, I was asked that yesterday. I'd probably lean towards Philadelphia. I like some of the players that are on Philly. Nick Castellanos, former Tiger, of course. I've always been a fan of Bryce Harper. He gets a lot of flack. I understand why to a certain extent. He definitely can be a hothead, but I don't know. I've always kind of liked him. Bonnie getting loose, keeping his foot in it. Biffle pushing him again. 6.3 seconds off the lead. They're closing. Definitely closing. .405. Last lap. Definitely starting to slowly close on some other cars in the top 10. Biffle again to bump trap Bobby Labonte. And the 18 as both these cars making up a lot of ground into turn 3. Gaining about 2 to 3 tenths of a second, it seems, on the back straightaway alone with the bump drafting. So it's working. Now, I have won at Talladega twice on the NASCAR EA Sports games in the Cup Series. I've never won at Daytona, but I have won at Talladega twice. And once was actually in a 3-wide finish in the Aaron's 499 last season with Dale Jr. Thanks for the mods taking care of that in the chat, by the way. The Hendrick Chevys of Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch just up ahead. And you got a Chevrolet and a Ford working together. Of Bobby Labonte and Greg Biffle. Hoping to be future champ and a former champ. Oof. Biffle clipped the apron going into turn 1. Stayed in the gas but wiggled. Hopefully he doesn't lose Labonte on the back straightaway. who is now caught up to the 24 and the 5. Pretty big run right now for the 16 of Biffle as he gets underneath Labonte into the corner. Labonte going to get hung out now. Biffle to 9th. And right in line behind Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch. Biffle down low under Gordon. Side drafts him. Biffle to 8th. Less than 5.5 seconds off the lead, and now behind Kyle Busch in the 5. Big run by Biffle to the outside. And now in line behind Rusty Wallace in the 2. Trying to get Rusty down to the bottom. And they do successfully right in front of Busch. Picking him up and putting him down. One by one. Count, thanks for tuning in. Back to the bump drafting on Wallace. 5 seconds off the lead, even into the corner. Wanted to get around Rusty Wallace in the tri-oval that time, and I decided to just kind of wait to get to the back straightaway. I didn't want to be too far away from Mike Bliss, who's the next car up ahead, before making that move. Jimmy Johnson's really pulling away from the rest of the field. Him and then one of the other cars up at the front. Biffle with the run to the outside, same way he got around Kyle Busch on the back straightaway, and this will get him to Mike Bliss in the 0 now. Trying to get Bliss down to the bottom, had to lift a little bit to let Bliss in, because he had such a big run going into turn 3. Down to about 78 laps to go at Talladega. Biffle has pitted twice in this race thus far. 4-tire stop and a 2-tire stop. Going to end up making another 2-tire stop this time. It's going to be left sides only. He took right sides only on the last stop. The first stop under the caution, or at least when he was on pit road during the caution, was 4. Trying to get track position, hopefully get to the lead and stay there this time. Biffle's teammate Matt Kenseth just up ahead as well. Kenseth in 4th. Biffle get a bump draft Mike Bliss on the back straightaway. Big gains being made. 4.2 seconds off the lead. Biffle underneath Bliss, gonna get around him clear in the tri-oval. Moves up, trying to get to Matt Kenseth in the 17. Is he close enough to work with his teammate? I do believe so. Kenseth has not led yet today. Started at the tail end of the field. Biffle got up there so quickly, but now he's trying to get back up there again. Massive run right now for Biffle. He's just gonna go underneath his teammate Matt Kenseth with the run into 3. So much for working with his teammate. Found Jeremy Mayfield, wanted to stay in the gas, make another pass for position, and we'll see if he can catch the 19. Barely in the draft of him, but has just enough of a draft. Fastest lap of the race for Biffle that last time, 48.248. Even on these extremely old left side tires. On about 70 laps on him. But lap 35 is the last time he changed the left side tires on this car. This is a bumpy Talladega surface. Not smooth by any means. Let's stay out one more lap. We'll push it to lap 115 and then we'll pit. .2 seconds off the lead. Biffle will pit this time. Third stop of the day. Dropping out of line on Mayfield and coming into the pits. Trying not to lock the tires up again. And he's got to. Just barely sped hitting the commitment line. Second time Biffle sped in the race. Last time he got bailed out with a caution. This time I don't think he will. That's unfortunate. It's going to be left side tires only still, but that's going to be a 5-second penalty. He was so close to hitting that speed at the commitment line. Got to 2 miles per hour over the limit. Don't LePage it. I don't plan on it. Thanks for tuning in, Jacob NASCAR. I don't know what Cookie Monster said in the chat, but thanks for tuning in, I guess. Biffle needs to stay on the lead lap. That was a terrible penalty. Or time to have the penalty, I should say, for Biffle's sake. Getting up to speed into turns 3 and 4. Here comes race leader Jimmy Johnson. Biffle back in 36th right now. Got some other cars on pit road the lap after Biffle pitted. Johnson looking to lap Biffle, who's still trying to get up to speed. Biffle the big block and hangs on in front of him. I don't know. Newman is closing in on Johnson because he's stuck behind Biffle. Biffle's got old right side tires now too. Waiting on the 48 and the 12 to pit at this point. Will cycle out ahead of Kyle Busch. He was in the top 10, but he seemed to be much further up ahead of Busch. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, thanks for tuning in. Oh man, Biffle up the track. Johnson down low. Biffle couldn't get back to the inside in time, and it looks like Johnson is going to clear, but now he's going to pit, so Biffle was going to remain on the lead lap. Ryan Newman will take the lead from Jimmy. Carjoy, thanks for tuning in also. A lot of cars cycling through pit stops right now. Jeff Gordon to the lead. Newman pit that last time by. As we run, there's not many cars on the lead lap until everything cycles through. So if we did see that 6th caution of the race, Biffle trying to get the draft off the car coming out of the pits. It would be Bobby Labonte in the 18. Oh, he moved up. He didn't realize Rusty Wallace was there. Contact between the two of the 16. They both kept it off the wall. It's going to allow Labonte to actually stay up to speed a little quicker. And nearly had a wreck there. Gordon stays out another lap. Big block by Rusty Wallace. Caution's out. Wallace is upside down in turns 1 and 2. Bump draft gone wrong. It wasn't even much of a bump draft. It was just a wow. Wild ride for Rusty. Not unfamiliar to see Rusty Wallace flip at Talladega. In his final season, he'll have another one. The 3rd car to flip tonight, our 6th caution of the race. I don't think Gordon hit pit road yet, so we have quite a few cars a lap down. And Rusty Wallace tried to throw a block on Biffle going into the corner, and he just wasn't clear and turned himself. Green flag back in the air. Johnson will be the leader on the restart. Biffle will line up in 7th. Remember, though, he still has older right side tires than pretty much everybody in the field. ...2005 Talladega is your first NASCAR race. Well, you're reliving it today. This isn't exactly how it happened, but... I don't remember this many flips in one race. About 9 years old. Right front in the yellow on the tire wear indicator right now for Greg Biffle. It was the longest green flag run of the race we had, considering we did cycle through green flag pit stops once and then almost did it 2 full rounds. Biffle trying to let Kyle Busch in the 5 go on the bottom lane. He's going to split the Hendrick Chevys up of Busch and Gordon. Top 3 kind of pulling away, it looks like. The cars bump draft in the middle of the corner, saw some sparks flying. Big run for Greg Biffle. Kyle Busch trying to throw a block. We just saw Rusty Wallace flip after trying to throw a block on Biffle, and Kyle Busch with an aggressive one. He's been one of the more aggressive drivers today, though. Rusty clipping the apron in the middle of the corner. Got a little loose down to the bottom lane. Busch is going all the way down below the yellow line to block the 16 again. Jets getting 2.0. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, Jets. He's rubbing it in my face. Jets beat the Packers. Seen you like 2 or 3 times since Sunday, and all 2 or 3 times I've seen you talk about the Jets. It was a good win. Packers not looking too good right now. Three wide. Into turn 3. Up to 8th place is Greg Biffle. Restarted 7th. We're down to just 58 laps to go at the start-finish line, though, this time by. Biffle on the inside of the 2 of Rusty Wallace, who just flipped. Still in contention. Mayfield on the outside. Biffle not able to get up in line in time. He'll have to drop in line behind the 19. Biffle hanging in there with his older tires, though. Still in the top 10. Both right sides in the yellow and the tire wear indicator. On the inside of Mayfield. Mayfield slides in line right behind him. Up the track goes Biffle. He's into the wall. He got tight. Contact with Rusty Wallace. Oh my goodness. Up and over goes Biffle and Quaffle in the middle of the pack. And we've got our second big one of the night. Marlin goes over. Had an explosion of cars there. Came back down across the banking. 3 cars up and over Marlin, Biffle, and Quaffle. The caution flag is going to be out again. Trying to keep this track position still, but how much damage does the 16 have? Green flag back in the air. Lap 136 restart out of 188. 2 big ones have now stricken at Talladega. Just got tight going into the corner, and there was contact with Wallace. happened so quick. They got hooked, and then there was nowhere to go for the pack behind them. Biffle in sixth. It's going to be split 3 wide off turn 4. Biff on the inside of Quaffle. Rusty Wallace moving down in front of the Biff. A lot of 2 and 3 wide racing and lane changing going on in the middle of turns 3 and 4 in the lead pack. A lot of lap cars trying to get back on the lead lap in case we get another caution. We've seen 7 cautions total in today's race. Surprisingly, tied for the least amount we've seen on an oval this season. 4th oval race, make that 5th oval race on the first 7. Got a street course and road course already as well. We have had a total of 6 cars flip during 2 separate wrecks and 1 big one. Rusty Wallace getting a massive push from Greg Biffle. And quite a few of the cars that have flipped are still running up in this lead pack like Rusty Wallace and Greg Biffle, which were in 2 separate accidents. Michael Phillips, thanks for tuning in. How many laps have I done on the custom schedule? We had 200, 100, that's 300, 200 and the 500 is 500. 175 in New York would make 475. 500 at Martinsville, 975. Go to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Lifted a little bit. He was hesitant on whether Bobby Labonte would move down. And then I think we had 143 at Daytona Road Course, so that would make... if I'm thinking correctly, 1,111 laps, I think, is the exact number of how many laps I've ran so far this season. That 188 tonight. But leading into the race, I think we ran 11:11, if I do my math correctly. Biffle Rudd, nose to tail. Ricky Rudd has been silently quick throughout the course of the race today. Greg Biffle going underneath him. Rudd is actually a lap down. He's not even on the lead lap. Biffle trying to get by him. Rusty Wallace moves down. Biffle not close enough to keep up with Wallace, though. And he's going to have to fall right back in line behind Rudd again on the back straightaway. Can't see me, thanks for tuning in. John Cena's theme. Followed by John Cena's. What the do-do-do is. Derek Booth, thanks for watching as well. Jimmy Johnson is had a really quick race car so far. If I remember right, he was quick in the Daytona 500. How many laps can I... Oh my gosh. I would never do that. 2.5, 3 hours in a race is one thing, but just practicing, you're not even like striving for anything. You can only have fun setting your fastest lap time so many times. And Biffle trying to get by Rudd. Every time he pulls to the inside of Ricky Rudd, Rudd side drafts him quite a bit, and that kind of slows both cars down. Biffle blocking Rudd to the outside. Jeff Gordon in the 24's got a run looking down towards the bottom. Biffle just going to ride the top into 3 and 4. He's going to have to let somebody go again. Gordon up to try to side draft to 21. Two seconds off the lead. Biffle's speed is not where it once was when he was arguably the fastest car in the field. That being caught up in that big one definitely hurt. Lucky to still be in the race. No, I don't drive backwards in the NASCAR games. I probably did when I was little. I'm sure everybody did. I haven't done it in a really long time. Both Gordon and Busch were for position. That has dropped Biffle from 7th to 9th. .7 seconds off the lead. And Biffle with the run underneath Kyle Busch in the 5. Gonna get around him for 8th. Drafted in line now behind Jeff Gordon. It's a one-stop race to the finish from here to the end for everybody in the field. To bump draft Gordon on the back straightaway. Quarter tank of gas left. Should easily make it within the fuel window, though. Not worried about not making it on fuel on one stop. Biffle's only pitted 3 times. That's kind of strange, though. 4 stops at Talladega. I feel like it should be more than 4 stops. I mean, I guess with 7 cautions, though, we've been able to save quite a bit of fuel. Biffle to push Gordon on the back straightaway. Gonna launch him underneath Rusty Wallace in the 2. The 24 and the 16 work together to get by Rusty for 6th and 7th. This will be the first time a Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet could go to victory lane this season. It's only the 7th race of the year, but considering their 5-car team and 3 of them have ran really good at the start of the season, they've had good races, they just haven't put a complete race together yet. Could today be the day? Getting down to it right now. Another pass for position as well for Gordon and Biffle as they got by Bobby Labonte. Johnson checking out from the field all by himself. Goes to show how strong the 48 car is. Biffle with Gordon, 2.5 off the lead. Biffle was 2.7 seconds back before linking up with the 24 car. We will alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race. And it'll be this time by at the start-finish line. Just 39 laps to go at the Talladega Superspeedway. About 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Greg Biffle right now. That is true. I guess we do have to go 35 laps. Biffle to the inside of Gordon. Down on the yellow line to get underneath him. They were 3 wide into the corner because there was a car on the outside as well. Biffle trying to draft with Mike Bliss in the 0. Biffle a little loose off turn 4. Still has the older right side tires. Gordon going to get back by. As well as Matt Kenseth. Going to draft in line behind his teammate, the 17. May lose him, though, by the time he got that momentum back, and that looks like it may be the case. Biffle hanging on desperately on the back straightaway behind the 17. He's trying to get underneath the 24 of Gordon. They get side by side. That might help Biffle stay with these guys. Really close into 3 and 4 right now. Biffle on the verge of losing the draft. Hopping up to Gordon. He worked so hard to get up to where he did, and now he's starting to fall back. Bobby Labonte with a run. Biffle gonna let him go to the inside. And he'll try to work with him. Once Labonte clears. Biffle immediately moves down. Big block on Rusty Wallace as well. Labonte getting a little too far out ahead. All by himself, though. There are 2 cars right behind Biffle helping him. Wallace to the outside. And the good news is Biffle's going to have to pit really soon. The bad news is he's lost about 2 seconds in a couple laps. Contact with Kyle Busch. Late block by Biffle. And we've got some cars pitting this time. We might have a fuel mileage race at Talladega after all. Biffle's staying out another lap. That'll pit this time by. As of right now, we officially have 35 laps to go. Which means when Biffle comes out of the pits, he'll have 34 laps left. It's going to have to be right side tires only for Greg Biffle. And hope he can get to the lead. Kyle Busch in the 5 going to get underneath him. Biffle needs to get down to the bottom lane. And he does, right behind Busch. Had to check up pretty late. He is going to lock the tires up. It was the only way he could get to pit road without speeding that time. It's still going to be right sides only, though, for the Biff. Full tank of fuel, right sides only. And he'll have to go 34 laps on fuel to the end of the race. Another green flag stop, the fourth and final stop of the day for Biffle. Quick stop, no mistakes by his crew. They haven't made a mistake today. Biffle has, though. He's made 2 pit road speeding penalties so far. And now he tries to get up to speed. He's ahead of everybody he pitted with. Nobody immediately in the rear view. He was about 4 seconds off the lead when he hit pit road. Hoping 2 tire stop can make up those 4 seconds to get up to Jimmy Johnson. Looked like there was some smoke on the backstretch heading towards turn 3. Last lap that there was a near accident, but we continue to stay green for right now. The Subway sandwich is as fresh as the paint scheme. You're right on that one. Got the red, white, blue. We got some Eat Fresh Subway. There's Kyle Busch. He was right around Biffle. Biffle easily going to cycle out ahead of him. Biffle's up to 10th. Jimmy Johnson still has to hit pit road yet. Some of those drivers that pitted... Oh, and caution is out. Trouble in turns 1 and 2, and I think the race leader, Jimmy Johnson, has crashed. Oh my gosh. Oh man, the Hendrick cars, Johnson hard into the wall and upside down in the grass. Busch is upside down as well. We've had 8 cars flip today. Oh, Labonte head on. Johnson hit hard into the back of the 5. There are some more cars spinning back there. We have had 3 big ones in today's race. And I believe that is going to cycle Greg Biffle to the lead. And now he can save some extra fuel under the caution as well. And the green flag is going to be back in the air at Talladega. And we're down to just 28 laps to go. 28 to go at Talladega. Greg Biffle out in front. The problem is, he's got old left side tires. Everybody else does not. Can he hold on to win this race? Blocking his teammate Kenseth as well. Johnson's hood's flapping right now in the wind. Oh, Boris said down to the bottom. I think he's a lap down, I would assume. Biffle has to block all 3 lanes, though, because you don't know. They're 4 wide for second place. Mayfield splits. Busch in the middle, 3 wide. Kenseth to the lead off turn 4. And I believe this will be the first lap Matt Kenseth's led all day. McMurray trying to side draft the left rear corner panel of Greg Biffle's race car. Biffle to the inside, 3 wide. Set is a lap down. Biffle underneath Matt Kenseth. Right in front of the 12 of Newman. Kenseth to the lead again on the top. Caution. Another caution. Kenseth had the lead at the time of the yellow, likely debris, and it was off Jimmy Johnson's race car. Piece of his front bumper. Hood's still intact, though, so that means his hood's probably going to fly off. You'd have to assume at some point. Our 5th debris caution of the race. And we're going to have even less laps to go when we go green. Things are ramping up. Green flag back in the air following the 9th caution of the race. Biffle with an aggressive restart. McMurray a lap down. Biffle up the middle. went 3 wide up the middle to try to get the lead from his teammate Matt Kenseth, and he did so. Cautions out right after Biffle took the lead. What a restart for Greg Biffle that time. He got to the lead. Caution came out behind him for the 10th time today. More debris off Jimmie Johnson's car. That time it was his hood. Hood has come off on the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. His second debris caution since flipping while leading. The fact that we've had 8 cars flip, though, at Talladega today. Another wild race on the schedule. That is our 10th caution of the race. We have hit double-digit cautions for the 3rd time in the first 7 races of the season. It's been that kind of a season so far. I figured we were going to have a good shot of getting there again today at Talladega. We have hit that mark. 19 laps to go. Green flag back in the air again. Biffle clear to the bottom on Jeff Burton. Casey Mears, who's a lap down in the 41 as well behind the 31. Kenseth had to drop to the bottom underneath both the lap cars. He's trying to get a run now in the back straightaway. Remember, Biffle flipped earlier in the day as well. He's got damage and he has old left side tires. It's going to be tough for the 16 to hold on to the finish, but he's going to do his best. Making it wide on the back straightaways. They're 3 wide for second. They'll be coming to 18 to go this time by. We don't know if the debris cautions are done. We could see yet another big one. We've had 3 of them already. Biffle on the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff Burton to the outside. Again, he is a lap down. Mayfield is a lap down in the 19. Kenseth to the lead. And Casey Mears, Ryan Newman for position. Newman up to second. Thought Casey Mears was on the lead lap for a second. I figured he was a lap down. And we've got 1 car underneath Greg Biffle, so he's 3 wide middle off turn 2. A lot of the lap cars up on the outside. Biffle's got a big run on the back straightaway behind Ryan Newman. Then the lap cars moved down in front of Biffle. Burton thought about it. Took him too long. Kenseth, Newman, Biffle, front of the field. Biffle a little loose off turn 4. Stayed in the gas. He's going to have to fight through it. Kenseth with a block on Newman. Newman simultaneously blocking Biffle. Barely clear. It was a clean one. And now Newman's going to have the run underneath the 17. Into the corner. Side by side between Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman for the lead. Back straightaway. Biffle with a huge run. 3 wide to the inside goes Greg Biffle into turn 3. He has cleared them both. And Kenseth actually on the outside was able to get to second. Rather, no, that is Newman in second. I got the paint schemes mixed up. Kenseth is in third. Not sure how many cars are even on the lead lap after that most recent caution. Probably not many. Ryan Newman to the outside of Greg Biffle again. Left rear in the yellow on the tire wear indicator right now for Biffle. Still have 16 laps to go. Newman has help from Jimmie Johnson, who just flipped. Johnson's still in it. Biffle has to block the bottom on Newman. Rather, Kenseth. I'm getting Newman and Kenseth mixed up with their paint schemes. Newman is the leader in the 12. Jimmie Johnson, who just flipped, bringing out the most recent big one, has a shot. Biffle's 3 wide middle off turn 4. Kenseth makes a big block on his teammate. Busch is still down low. Gordon was up high. It looks like Biffle's cleared Gordon on the top as he rides behind Kenseth. Busch is still down low. Biffle gave him just enough room. Gordon trying to push the 16. Now he's going to go with Kyle Busch on the inside. Crew chief called Biffle clear. I don't think he's clear, though. I think the 5's still there. Mike Bliss is now inside the top 5 in the 0, assuming he's on the lead lap. Kyle Busch has been on the inside of Biffle for a while. Now he drops in line behind him. Finally, Biffle has cleared Kyle Busch. Busch going to give the 16 a shot. Johnson to the inside of Matt Kenseth for second. This is coming down to the wire. Biffle with the run underneath Kenseth. Teammates not trying to work together right now. Every man for themselves. Biffle trying to go for his 4th win of the young season. Remember, he only has a 4-point lead over 2 drivers coming into the race today. Newman blocking Johnson. Johnson gonna block Biffle. 13 laps to go at Talladega. Biffle with the run. He gets under the 48. Newman trying to block Biffle. Johnson gets cleared. Biffle up to second. Shimmy giving a push to Biffle off turn 2. Biffle with the run under Ryan Newman. Heading into turn 3. Greg Biffle is clear. Newman getting a run back to the outside. Biffle with a block up high. Down low. Biffle back out in front at Talladega. 300 Chevys in the mix. 2 of them have flipped. Gordon's kept his car clean all day. Matt Kenseth in the 17 with a run to the bottom. Biffle saw it. He went to the inside to block. Ryan Newman's got Kyle Busch behind him. Can 2 rookies win in the first 7 races of the year? That would be the case if Kyle Busch can win. Biffle getting really loose, especially on corner entry right now. Everybody's got to stay tucked up underneath one another, though. Newman again to the lead off turn 4. Kyle Busch into second. Biffle getting freight trained. Kenseth down to the outside. Top 2 starting to pull away. Biffle up in front of Kenseth. Dale Jarrett to the bottom. Jarrett is up to 3rd. Remember, he won at Dover in the last race, so Dale Jarrett's trying to go for back-to-back wins. What is this, 1999 all over again? I didn't know it was 1999. I thought it was 2005. Jarrett's trying to go for 2 wins. Biffle the run in the tri-oval. He's going to get underneath Jarrett. Probably made the move a little too early. Newman's pulling away right now. He might want to be careful getting too far out ahead. Biffle losing some track position right now. He's going to have to go with his teammate. Biffle's car is just a little too loose on those old left side tires, and he's having a hard time trying to keep the car as straight as possible in the corner without overcorrecting it. Every time he moves the wheel just a little bit extra, it's more and more time he's losing. Jarrett to the inside underneath Kyle Busch. Biffle had a run on Kenseth, went to the bottom knowing Jarrett was there in front of him. Biffle got to go with the 88. Pushes him. Gets back by Kenseth. Back in line behind Kyle Busch again. Looking low underneath the rookie. He'll get there. And Jarrett, who is in second now to block Biffle. This is what Ryan Newman wants to see, is disorganization out of his rearview mirror. Biffle back to 3rd. Kenseth is on the inside of the 16. 8 laps to go. Jarrett blocking Biffle down to the bottom. Kenseth again, down low on the inside. He's going to clear Greg Biffle. Kenseth going low, trying to get underneath Jarrett. This might be the time where the Roush Fenway Fords may want to work together. But Jarrett stays down on the bottom. Kenseth went to the outside. Biffle didn't want to go to the top. Wants to stay hooked to that yellow line as much as he can. And Kyle Busch stayed behind the 16, keeping Biffle's momentum up as well. Again, Biffle has older tires. Go to the far chase cam for the remainder of the race. 7 laps to go, and the earn's $4.99. Ryan Newman out ahead, but he's a little too far out ahead potentially. Busch, Kenseth side by side. They're losing time from Jarrett and Biffle, who are nose to tail. Biffle going to be a little more aggressive. He's going to try to bump draft Dale Jarrett on the back straightaway. We know Biffle's car's been really loose. He hangs onto it on the outside into the corner. Didn't want to go to the top. The 3 late cautions have definitely allowed for Biffle to be able to make it on fuel to the end of this race. We'll be down to just 6 laps to go now at the line. Can Ryan Newman win at Talladega, a place he never won at in his NASCAR Cup career? Can Dale Jarrett go for back-to-back wins in the early going of the season? Jarrett was one of the 2 drivers who was only 4 points behind Biffle coming into the day. He could take his first points lead just by finishing in front of the 16. Biffle going to give Jarrett a big push on the back straightaway. Top 3, nose to tail, through 3 and 4. Biffle hoping these 2 don't draft away from him. 5 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Biffle has a run in the tri-oval. He's going to go to the bottom. He's underneath Dale Jarrett. For second place, he's got the spot into turn 1, and now he is in the driver's seat behind Ryan Newman. Biffle's got older left side tires than everybody else. And looking for a run off turn 2. Never know if another caution comes out, it could end the race. Biffle with a run underneath Ryan Newman. They'll be door to door into turns 3 and 4 for the lead. And Biffle is out in front as he clears Ryan Newman off turn 4 with a clean pass. Newman bounces off the wall, and a huge block to the bottom by Biffle on Dale Jarrett, who's up to second after Newman got up into the fence. Biffle very aero loose, even in the tri-oval with Jarrett behind him. Biffle has just clinched the most laps led by leading that lap at the start-finish line with just 4 laps to go. Lap car down on the bottom. May get in the way. That's Terry Labonte in the 44. Jarrett checks up out of a safety precaution. It's going to give him a big run on the back straightaway. And Biffle is able to play the defense. Newman to the inside with Kenseth and Busch. Biffle couldn't block both lanes. They're 3 wide now as they split the 16 off turn 4. Dale Jarrett to the lead with 3 to go at Talladega, this time by. Newman to second. Kenseth gets up into Biffle. Contact's made. Kenseth saves it. Biffle hangs onto the race car, and Kenseth drops down to the apron. Kenseth got tight or something there. I don't know if Busch got into him from behind or not, but he moved up into the 16, and that stacked the entire pack up. Biffle the run, back straightaway underneath the 12 of Newman again. Can he get under Dale Jarrett? He cannot. Jarrett throws the block. And they'll be coming to 2 to go at the line. Into the tri-oval, Biffle for the lead. On the inside of Dale Jarrett. They make contact in the tri-oval. Can't get there. Newman to the bottom. He's going for it. Side by side for the lead off turn 2. Has Biffle lost the draft, though? Is he too far behind Ryan Newman and Dale Jarrett? He may be. That might have been the last chance for Greg Biffle. Ryan Newman to the lead off turn 4. And now it's a 2-car race between Jarrett and Newman. No help from behind for Biffle. He's all alone. The white flag is in the air. No cautions on the final lap. It's between Ryan Newman and Dale Jarrett. And Biffle in third all by himself. The pack is closing in on him. Hopefully he can hang on to third in time to get to the checkered flag. Jarrett hopping in line on the outside behind Ryan Newman. If Newman wins, we will have our 5th different winner in the first 7 races. If Jarrett wins, he'll go back-to-back, but he has fallen a little too far behind into 3 and 4, and he doesn't have any help with Biffle behind him anymore. And as they head into the tri-oval, it looks like Ryan Newman is going to be able to hang on. Kyle Busch has a run for third on Greg Biffle. Biffle trying to block. Jamie McMurray in the mix. And Ryan Newman has won the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Oh, wow. McMurray got by Busch there at the checker for 4th. But Ryan Newman by 0.2 of a second is going to win the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Man, I wish I didn't have the older tires there at the end of the race. Once Newman left me and went to the bottom, it was game over for me. I lost my drafting partner when I tried to go for the lead with Jarrett. He didn't go with me. He took it 3. It ended up being the right move for Newman, though, because he won the race with that move. But, 3rd place after starting last, and I think we still led, we led the most laps, 61 laps led. We're getting closer to getting better on these super speedways. We just can't seal the deal. And I think Dale Jarrett's going to have the point. Well, then again, I led the most laps. He did get 1 lap led. 45 lead changes today. 10 cautions for 30 caution laps. 3 hours, 35 minutes total time on the race today. 139.33 miles an hour was the average race speed. Margin of victory again, 0.2 of a second. We had 10 cautions, Bentley. Sticky for Balicki is better than Stiffy for the Biffy. Oh, jeez. I mean, we gave it our all. If I would have known that well, see, the thing is, though, if I would have taken 4 tires, I might not have been on the lead lap with having that speeding penalty. If I didn't have that speeding penalty, I might have been able to take 4 and at least stay on the lead lap, but I was also going for the win, so I was probably going to take 2 even if I didn't speed. Try to get that big lead. I mean, that caution gave us a better chance potentially at the win, but I don't even know if it gave us a better or worse chance, really. I mean, we had a shot there late. I think the big thing that costed us outside of Newman leaving us was the lap before when Kenseth made contact with me, because that broke my momentum. I was able to hang on to it, but it broke my momentum, and then he obviously fell back, and as well as the rest of the pack behind Kenseth fell back. So I didn't have anybody behind me the rest of the way until I got in front of Newman. But then Newman ended up going 3 wide to the bottom. If we would have had more cars in the pack, I was able to keep up with them when we had more cars up there. But once we got down to just 3, it was very tough for me. I wasn't lifting, and I was still losing them in the corners because my car, the rear tires were spinning a little bit more. I was a little too loose with the old left side tires. Good race, though. That was a great race. We had 3 big ones. They got, sloppy at times, but the racing itself was pretty good all throughout. Ryan Newman, again, with the win. His first win of the season. 29 laps led. How about Ryan Newman winning at Talladega of all tracks? Who would have thought? Start the live stream at 9. Late in bed watching the stream. No. Not that late, especially on my work nights. Okay, so Dale Jarrett finishes second. How about back-to-back top 2s, though, for Jarrett? He almost had back-to-back wins. I would not have guessed that Dale Jarrett, of all drivers in this game, would have gotten back-to-back wins. I mean, it's not that he was bad, but like in 2005, he wasn't like the Jarrett of 1999. It feels like 1999 Dale Jarrett again. He might be competing for a title. Greg Biffle ends up finishing third. Jamie McMurray on the last lap got by Kyle Busch by a nose for fourth. Busch ended up fifth. Had a great day. Didn't lead a lap, though. Mike Bliss with his 5th straight top 10 finish. I don't think he's had any top 5s in that 5-race stretch. They've all been finishes 6th through 10th. But another top 10, though, for Bliss. Bobby Labonte finishes 7th. Michael Waltrip had a quiet day. He started on the pole. Finished 8th. I mean, he pretty much ran back half of the top 10 to 15th the whole race. But did not lead a lap despite qualifying on the pole. Mark Martin led 2 laps today, finished in 9th, and then Casey Kane rounded out the top 10 in today's race. Jimmy Spencer finished 11th. What a run for Spencer. And the 50 car. Was that Derek Cope Racing or what? It was before StarCom. I think Derek Cope owned the car, though. I don't know what the team name was. But Derek Cope, as a team owner, 11th, and Jimmy Spencer with that 11th place finish. Jeff Gordon, 12th. Johnson fell back to 15th there late. Matt Kenseth fell back to 16th there at the end. Boris said had heavy damage in this one, finished 17th. And then Jeremy Mayfield was the first car lap down at 18, so 17 cars finished on the lead lap. Kurt Busch finished 2 laps down in 24th. And then our other teammate, Carl Edwards, blew an engine early in the race and only completed 12 laps, finished in 42nd. Scott Wimmer, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, Elliott Sadler, Kyle Petty, Foster, one of the fantasy drivers, all blew an engine, and then Tony Stewart ended up finishing, 4 laps down, or 3 laps down, 37th. Get your Jimmy out for Johnson. Get your Johnson out for Johnson. Jeez. Alright. Well, we'll check out the point standings. Our next race of the schedule will be at Talladega again, but it's not on the oval. It'll be under the lights in a road course race at Talladega for our next race of the schedule. 143 laps for the Dixieland 500K. In the Talladega infield road course layout. So that's going to be a fun one. That will be coming up on Thursday night. Tomorrow night we go back to NASCAR 22, and it will be a Richmond race, and it will be our second 50% race of the season when we go to Richmond as well. So just 200 laps. That'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night on the channel. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, as we will start things off. NASCAR 22, race 7 of our season there at Richmond, 50% race. And then 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Thursday night for this Talladega road course race. You won't want to miss it. Talladega Oval was wild. The road course on NASCAR 05, we only had like 1 or 2 green flag laps the whole race. It was caution after caution after caution. We might break a NASCAR record for the most yellows in a single race if we have something similar to that again. And just as we went into the day, the points canceled out with Biffle finishing 3rd, Jarrett 2nd. Jarrett had 5 bonus points, but Biffle had 10 bonus points. By position, Jarrett would have beat Biffle by 5, but again, Biffle outscored him by 5 in the bonus points. So, by just 4 points, still, Biffle leads Jarrett in the standings. It's still early in the year. We're only 7 races in, so obviously that's why the points are as tight as they are in the first place. But, man, Dale Jarrett having a strong start. Mike Bliss, with 5 straight top 10s, has now cracked the top 5 in points. In fact, he is tied for 4th with Jimmy Johnson. I'm not sure what the tiebreaker is. I feel like average finish is probably the tiebreaker if you're tied in wins. Johnson and Bliss are still winless on the season. But yeah, Mike Bliss, 5th in points. Elliott Sadler, though, 7th in points, too. And both the Robert Yates cars in the top 7. And the only other Roush cars in the top 10 in points are Kenseth and Edwards. And Edwards just had a DNF tonight. He was top 5 in points, but ended up with an engine failure just 12 laps in, unfortunately, while starting up at the front of the field. Kurt Busch, Martin just outside. So, I mean, all the Roush cars doing pretty good. All 5 of them in the top 12 in points right now. Collectively having a good season. Dale Jr. 16th in points, 7 races in. Ryan Newman just won this race and he's 17th. Jr. 16th. The 17th place driver in points just won this race. And I guarantee he wasn't 17th coming into the night. He could have been outside the top 20 coming into this race and won. I mean, Kyle Busch had a top 5. He was outside the top 20 in points. I want to see where Jamie McMurray was in points. Because he had a top 5 also. He's 15th. Crazy. Yeah, tough break for Tony Stewart as well. He lost a lot of time. Or a lot of points, I mean. A lot of ground. He was 4th in points and ended up falling back to 7th in one race after finishing 37, 3 laps down. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. Weird times, weird times. Alright, that's going to wrap it up here tonight, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow for some NASCAR 22 at Richmond. Have a good night, everybody. Great race. Great race.